Adam remodeled chair.
Yeah.
Will's gonna send you my thing for Wednesday's meeting.
Okay,
It's in that little blue box. I can't open it. If you can open it and print it out for me, I'd have it that night.
yes.
I'd appreciate that.
Make sure I get you the right.
Is Dave not
one,
here?
right?
Yes, you're right. Well, yeah.
And
I
if you
saw
can't
Scott.
open it, then we're really in trouble.
Okay, well, I should be able to.
But I'll
open it.
bring hard copies to the meeting.
Okay. Watch
Meetings
over.
on Wednesday.
The joint EPU and the operational maintenance board, they're going over Dave's contract.
Organize it.
I went to the last one.
Started with the same.
Yeah.
And that's what he's paying to work with the agenda. Yeah, he agreed, John.
Yeah, I didn't see the that was attached to that blue box. Yeah, it wouldn't be there.
The other, another community, and that was pretty much exactly the pricing, it was exactly the pricing that he gave them.
You raised that here tonight?
I sent it to him like twice,
No, there he
and
is.
then he just signed it and sent it back without blocking it.
Nice of you to
Pricing
show up.
came exactly from Union City. and-
I'm here. It's all good.
Hey, part-time.
Maybe got some sleep.
Uh,
I think I never work. This guy. How many weeks of vacation you get now?
A lot, and I don't use them all.
I get 7.
Well, I don't get that much.
I use mine.
must be nice to get vacation time.
So you get 7 weeks vacation or 7 days?
7 weeks.
That's because you don't do anything the other.
I know.
Okay. You get paid, that's all that matters.
Make concessions in my contract.
I pretty much work on my vacations though.
I don't do that. Well, it's 6 weeks of vacation, a week is sick time. But I use them as vacation days.
I get nothing.
Call this meeting to order. Those in attendance, please rise. Join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome all of our friends and neighbors and colleagues in joining us in this regularly scheduled October 17th, 2022 City Council meeting. As you come in tonight, hello, Councilman Zeiser. As you come in tonight, which would be to my right, which would be to your left, when you come in that door, there's a desk. There's a sign-in sheet on that desk. If you're a guest with us tonight, please make sure you sign in for the public record. City Clerk, can I have a roll call?
Councilperson Soha. Reiner.
Here.
Veer.
Here.
Morrissey.
Here.
Sharp.
Here.
Stuchel.
Here.
Pratt. Sizer.
Here.
Mayor Stockford.
Here.
We have 1 absent here.
Thank you, Katie. We'll move into approval of agenda. Does any member of council or the city manager have any changes they'd like to see made to the agenda tonight? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Support.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Morrissey, seconded by Councilman Veer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, we've got an agenda. We will move into public comment on agenda items only. During this time, the podium will be open. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Please limit your trips to 1 to the podium. And please ensure, if you're speaking on anything, that it has a direct tie to something present on the agenda tonight. Also, another note, if you're here for either of the public hearings for Cambria Tool or for the JP office building, there will be public comment period during that time to speak your mind. So please wait until that time if that's what your comments are regarding. The podium is now open. Seeing no comments, we'll close the podium and we'll move into the consent agenda. Got a real short consent agenda. Approval of bills, city and BPU claims of September 15th, payroll of September 29th, city council minutes of October 3rd, election commission minutes of October 6th, and then a request for partial street closure for a half marathon, and that's Hillsdale College. Any discussion on any of the items present on the agenda, consent agenda? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Support. Motion on the floor from Councilman Morrissey, seconded by Councilman Soha. May I have a roll call vote, City Clerk?
Councilperson Briner,
Yes.
Veer,
Yes.
Morrissey,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Stuchel,
Yes.
Sizer,
Yes.
Mayor Stockford,
Yes.
Councilperson Soha.
Yes.
8-0 approved.
Thank you, Katie. All right, we'll move into communications petitions, and item A is a proposed mural email. This is from Connie Sexton. And it says the Heritage Association of Hillsdale County would like to improve the back property of City Hall, where the fence enclosure and City Hall sign stands. Their plan is to incorporate the title City Hall in the mural. It will be painted on the aluminum panels by a local artist, and that's David Youngman, who is an incredibly talented young artist. I just sat through a drawing class of his, and it was very enlightening. So that looks like it's going to be awesome. We'll add a whole another level of flavor to our downtown. Do we need to approve that, Dave, in the future, or?
My understanding is they plan on bringing the design back to council for approval.
Okay, I'm sure it'll be lovely.
I do have a correction to the letter.
Sure.
It says that you have to move the gate.
Yes.
Heather and I took a look at it. What they're gonna do is redesign the panels, so it'll go right over the gate, so you don't have to mess with the fence.
Okay.
So, there's a correction to the letter.
Really looking forward to that. And then item B is an email from Brant Cohen. It's on the, regarding the Kiefer House. It's addressed to Dave. It just said that he talked with Rob and he said you both agreed that a quarterly update would be sufficient. So is that what we're gonna get, quarterly updates from CL regarding the Kiefer?
That is my understanding, yes.
Very good. Any discussion on either of these items? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into introduction and adoption of ordinances, public hearing. The first one is for Cambria Tool, and I see that Troy's with us tonight. Hi, Troy. So we'll open the public hearing, IFT Cambria Tool and Design LLC. Says Cambria Tool and Machine has submitted an application for an industrial facilities tax exemption certificate for their expansion project starting March 31st, 2022 with a projected end date of March 31st, 2024. Total cost of the building and improvements reported by the applicant is $164,229.74. And this is a industrial facilities tax exemption for 12 years. Troy, would you mind coming up to the podium? Hi, Troy.
Hi, guys.
Any questions for Troy while he's at the podium? Councilman Beer?
Well, I'm not sure. I was just curious. I thought exemptions were done for 10 years, and I didn't understand that 12. We just do them for
As far as I know, they're almost always 12 years.
12 years? Okay.
Yes, sir. Councilman Sharp?
You've already started this project then on? Yep. Okay, so you were hoping our goodwill would be sweet to you and we would grant it?
Really didn't, yes, that'll work for me. I have to do this one way or the other.
Right.
For 69 years in Hillsdale, and
That was my next question. How long you guys been here?
69 years, and due to changes in the economy, we've lost our #1 customer for the last 69 years. So we're making moves to stay here in Hillsdale. So
That's a good move then, thank you.
just for correction on the note, it should be Cambria Tool and Machine Incorporated. Just so you guys can fix that.
Okay. Any other questions for Troy? Is there anything you want to tell us about the project, Troy?
It's just like every other COVID project,
Yeah.
slow. So, yeah, it's going good. I mean, we've used a lot of the Hillsdale residents, Hillsdale County residents to do the building, and so most of the money's stayed here in the county, so try to utilize those people. Yeah, I'm not necessarily gonna tell you that I'm gonna add a bunch of people, but we're gonna keep as many as we can, for sure. I don't see losing any. So fourth generation started working about 5 months ago, so that's a good thing for us as well. So,
That's awesome. Thank you. Any more questions for Troy? Thank you, Troy. Thank you for coming tonight.
thanks, guys.
Motion to approve.
We gotta open the podium for public comment. Yep, it is a good deal, I agree. We'll now open the podium for public comment. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Limit your trips to one to the podium. And please, if you're commenting, make sure it has something to do with this particular item. Podium is now open. Seeing no public comment, we'll close the podium. Any discussion at the council table?
Motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Sharp, seconded by Councilman Soha. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Troy. All right, we will close the public hearing and we will move into item A or item B. In introduction, adoption of ordinances, public hearings. Sorry, let me get back in my agenda here. And this is a public hearing for Oprah JB Office Building LLC. And I believe we have a representative for this one as well tonight. Hi, Jill.
Hi.
So let me get here real quick. It says the clerk's office is in receipt of an Oprah for property located at 30 and 32 North Howell Street. The application is for tax abatement of the rehabilitation of the former Nash building. The project has an estimated cost of $97,500 for new bathroom on the second floor, new ceiling, resurface walls, HVAC, painting, repair of multiple roof leaks, plumbing leaks, seal brick on the exterior and the back of the building, rehabilitate entire blighted space on the second floor, and convert to office and living space. Staff recommends that the Oprah application be approved for 10 years with a certificate to expire on December 30th, 2032, and council approve the resolution as presented. Thanks for coming tonight, Joe.
Sure.
Do you want to tell us anything about the project?
Well, the building's been vacant on the first floor for 3 years. That is now filled. We will see lots of movement in the next week or so. The flooring on the first floor is finished, and Hillsdale Natural Grocery will be moving across the street and more than double their retail space.
Nice.
So that will be very good for us. I think they'll do better on that side of the street, quite honestly. With the traffic for them from the gymnastic center, 160 kids going through there in a week, I think they'll see some more foot traffic there. As far as this rehab, the second floor of the building, there is, Mr. Morrissey actually toured the building. He can verify all of this information, but there's a large blighted space that's never been touched since the dumpster fire in the back of the building in the early 80s. So, yeah, we want to completely rehab that entire space and either add more office spaces for counselors. We've had some inquiries, several inquiries actually, for more office space. We currently have 3 counselors on the second floor. The gymnastic center is on the 3rd floor. We're not going to do anything to the 3rd floor. That's down the line. But the second floor does not have HVAC. It has electric baseboard heat, and that's not ideal. There's also only 1 restroom, so we do need to change that. So we have our work cut out for us. All local people will be doing the work. And Ken Hodge has done all the work on the first floor, and it's really lovely inside right now, so I'm excited about the project, and, I wasn't really planning to purchase a 3-story commercial building downtown, but, I've been in that building for 28 years since my sophomore year at Hillsdale College, and, I'm gonna still remain in Hillsdale, so we will see the project through.
That's awesome, Jill. Thank you. Any questions, Jill?
Yeah, I did tour that building and it does need a lot of work, as many of those structures along that road do. So I support it.
Thank you, Councilman Morrissey. Any other questions or comments? Councilman Sharp.
So the offices, what's gonna exactly be in the offices on the second floor? Just out of curiosity.
It's currently occupied with counselors. There are
Counselors,
3.
what's their specialty? I'm just curious.
Well, Renee Moore is a school counselor in reading, and she has private practice here in Hillsdale, and in Adrian. Family counselors, primarily, specializing in children for her, and the gentleman across the hall, he's also a family counselor. Most of their traffic comes from court-ordered clients that are across the street.
All right, well, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Councilman Sharp. Any more questions for Jill? Oh, we've got her at the podium. Thank you for coming tonight, Jill. Appreciate it. Now open the podium up for public comment. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Please limit your trips to 1 to the podium. And of course, you're only entitled to speak on Oprah JB Office Building LLC on the agenda at this time. Podium is now open. Seeing no public comment, we'll close the podium, open up the table. Any discussion at the council table?
I was gonna second it when he was done.
Yeah.
I move it.
Second.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Morrissey, seconded by Councilman Sharp to approve the attached resolution for an obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate application. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Can I have that resolution number, Katie?
That is 3521.
3521. Thank you very much, Katie. Okay, we'll close that public hearing and we'll move into old business. Item A, special assessment district policy. Dave?
Thank you, Mayor. After a discussion at the last council meeting where we passed the Westwood Special Assessment District, I felt it was important to bring the policy that we're utilizing moving forward up. As council had a consensus last year that we move forward with that policy on all major road projects. Anything more than chip and seal type or projects are all being evaluated based on the special assessment district policy. And then just to point out that, again, the policy states that all projects, major projects moving forward, and it's to treat everyone fairly, because how do you pick and choose who you do this subdivision and then the next subdivision you treat differently? So we have a policy as to do that and to treat everyone the same. And then the idea behind the special assessments, as the committee looked at it, was to create momentum in other areas of the community for projects as well, because those folks will be paying for the streets that are being redone. The city as a whole will be paying for the city side of those streets being redone. So that extra money will help assist other areas of the community to get their streets done as well. So that's what the intention behind the policy was, and I just wanted to put it back out to the public and to the mayor and council.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave? Thank you, Dave. So when we do chip seal on streets, residents cannot expect a special assessment on a chip seal. Okay. Alrighty. Well, guess we'll move out of old business and into new business. Item A, DMCI tower lease. Dave?
Correct. Yes, and so this is actually for radio towers on the South Street Water Tower. BPU and the council had worked on this a number of years ago, and quite simply did not get finalized. So about 5 years ago to be exact. So once that was determined and I assumed the role there at the BPU, we started working on this, trying to find out where the previous agreement was. Basically found out that DMCI and the city didn't have a good agreement, which prompted the reestablishment of one. The BPU has met with Mr. Cleveland, and he had given us a couple agreements that he used with other communities, particularly Union City and maybe Teconcha, I'm thinking the other one was. So it was mirrored off that. And then we've also, the BPU has approved it, and legal counsel has also reviewed it. So, and Mr. Cleveland has also approved. So.
Okay, why does this climb after a number of years, Dave? Is it just like inflation or?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
and that's how the other agreements were all stipulated too. Every 5 years there was an increase.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah.
Councilman Stuchel.
I don't know anything about these towers, so I'm just asking questions out of ignorance, if you will. I mean, is there any cost to the city to have an antenna on top of a water tower? I mean,
Cost to the city,
Yeah.
well, it is space.
Yeah.
It's like a lease, right?
yeah, but it's not like, I mean, it's antenna, it's not like a sign, it's not like it's an advertisement, it's a piece of equipment that you wouldn't know is there unless you really look at it.
Correct.
So I guess, and I like you said, I mean, Mr. Cleveland came with the agreement. I guess I'm questioning, or I'm putting the question out there, is we're doing what we can for, people downtown, for tax abatements, we're encouraging business. And this type of business encourages other businesses. If we have low cost high-speed internet, that's a big plus. And again, I don't know if these prices are really good or not, but to the mayor's point, I looked at the increases. They go up 14%, it goes up 12%, 11%. I mean, those are high increases. To me, as a business.
Those numbers were given to me directly from Mr. Cleveland.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing, I mean.
The city's not trying to stick Mr. Cleveland.
No.
This was something he had given us, as he had approved in other communities.
And I'm not insinuating that we're trying to, either way, but is there, that's just my question. It just seems like we should reach out to help where we can.
If I may, with respect to any type of lease of something or anything where you're dealing with public property, you cannot lease it out, sell it, or do anything else with it without charging what would be considered to be a fair market value for it. So, I mean, legally, you're not allowed to do that in the state of Michigan. So,
Suggesting that.
right, I get that, but if Mr. Cleveland is suggesting perhaps those rates are representative of the market rate, unless you had something that suggested otherwise, you probably shouldn't have a lease agreement that has different rates or lower rates, just because of that legal restriction that you have.
I guess my point is this is an attractive part of bringing people to Hillsdale. I mean, a high-speed internet, is a nice thing to have. So that's my point. I mean, if he agrees with it, he agrees with it.
Thank you, Councilman Stuchel. I mean, yeah, of course, we want to encourage high-speed internet in the city whenever we can. And just out of curiosity, I'm not saying that we would do this, but if you were doing business with, like, say, DMCI, or if you were doing business with, say, Comcast, don't we have a council policy that we would have some sort of 3% favoritism towards local businesses? Because I thought that was the case. Maybe that's not the case with leases, but I know that we try to favor and encourage local businesses to do business with us above and beyond I mean, these guys are competing with like Comcast, which is an enormous organization, one of the biggest corporations in the world, so.
I don't know if you have a policy that allows you to give people a reduction in what otherwise would be a fair market rate. I think you do have a policy that allows you to award something on bid that might be for someone who is local, but maybe came out within a certain margin, maybe a little bit higher than someone who's not local. But that's a slightly different thing when you're purchasing something as opposed to when you are leasing or selling property.
Okay. Thank you. Councilman Sharp.
So if that's correct, then it's per antenna, and he has 9, so that's $2,700 per month.
Correct.
That's a decent income coming into the city's coffers, just like AT&T is paying us to rent that spot out there where that tower is. That's a fair market value, the price they gave us. We get $15,400 a year. That goes into our coffers. So anytime we can capture something that goes in there, it helps. It could go somewhere else. It could go to some project there. So we're not trying to discourage people, but we're not misusing the money we're collecting from it either. And he proposed this. So if he's comfortable with it, I don't have a problem with it either. I understand where you're going with this, but I think it's a good thing.
I think the mayor said it better than I did. I mean, you know, what can we do to reach out to our local vendors and local businesses? I mean, I'm just asking a question. I'm not suggesting that this is a bad deal, we shouldn't do this. I'm just asking the question.
But we do have other providers. I have AT&T for my provider, and that's where I basically use. So there are options out there.
Well, yeah.
So, but I'm glad he's doing this. And it's a good thing to clean up what wasn't done under your administration. To clean it up as somebody else. Thank you.
Any more discussion? Oh, sorry, Councilman Beer.
I'm just, you know, and, on the 300, but it's gonna go up, what is it, 19% over 5 years? And right now, this year, we're going up 8% for 1 year. I mean, just the rate of inflation.
8.7.
What?
8.7.
8.7, okay. And as far as, because and the time frame, because it allows the city also, if it, I suppose both parties in this, if they find it unsatisfactory, they can back out. I know the city has to give a 180-day notice that they're not gonna renew it at the end of 5 years. So I think it offers a lot of flexibility for both parties.
Well, thank you, Councilman Beer. I know this is barely related, but I have no idea how the feds are selling us 8.7% inflation. I know it's higher than that. I'm paying 30% more for a gallon of milk. Transportation costs at the business I manage are 30% higher. Inflation is not 8%, it's 30-something%. I don't know, I'm selling this lemon, but I don't believe it for a second myself. Sorry. Any more discussion on this item? Entertain a motion then to approve the South Street Water Tower Access and Use Agreement.
So moved. Support.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Morrissey, seconded by Councilman Sharp. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm recusing myself.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, we'll move on to item B, order of BPU water sewer dump trucks. Dave.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm gonna have Jason to come up to kind of explain as we talk about inflation, also about supply chain issues. And you'll see the next two items. One is for the BPU, Water and Sewer Departments, the other is for DPS. Both have planned in their capital improvement plan to purchase a dump truck this year, in this year's budget and next year's budget. but given the supply chain issues, we're finding anywhere from 1.5 years to 2 years for delivery of this type of equipment. So what this is asking council's approval to actually move forward with ordering those vehicles so we can actually get them sometime between 1.5 years and 2 years. And I'll let Jason take it from there. We do have 2 proposals. One's the Michigan purchasing contract, and the other is a national contract.
Correct.
So I'll let Jason expand from that.
So, give you a real rundown of what I found. When I prepared this agenda item summary, I did not have the quotation for the second one I had. So I'll be bringing this to you. But what we're seeing on the MIDO pricing is anywhere between 68 to 72 weeks from order to delivery. That's due to material, Ford delivering the chassis, GM, all of the above. I know GM and Ford are doing a refab on the F-550s right now. So everything's kind of back. So with the MIDO pricing, after Signature Ford provides the truck to our outfitter, we're at $111,685 per vehicle. Now the competitor is called Linco. They're based out of Indiana. Their lead time is a little different. It's about actually 15 weeks into our favor. The price is $122,661, so a difference of $10,981. I don't know if the problem that DPS has right at the moment is one of our vehicles is in desperate need of repair. After April, the DOT inspection, it will not be longer in service on the road. With that being said, if they can hold the times, I would almost offer to order 1 truck of each, try to get one now and get one later. The last truck we did receive was from Signature Ford. The price we got at that time was $87,000. The exact same truck that we're quoting today, like I said, is $111,000, the exact same outfit. Go back to the inflation that we were talking about. That truck was supposed to be delivered within 1 year, and it took 6 more months to get, so it was 1.5 years. So the lead times, I think, are gonna be pushed out, even with what I'm telling you guys today. I would expect 2 years by the time we're done. So that being said, I would, with your approval, I'd like to order 1 vehicle from both vendor, supplier, and kind of hopefully one gets here before the other one.
Thank you, Jason. Any questions for Jason?
So as far as ordering them, and we've talked to the finance director about this, so we will not be putting any money down. That's just an order. Hopefully the price won't go up again after, by the time it is supposed to come to us. But with council's approval, we can place the order, get in the queue. And as Jason said, there's one that seems to be a little bit quicker.
Correct.
If they could meet that, we would get the truck a little bit quicker and be a little less expensive. And the second Signature Ford is who we've used before, is it's almost 6 months more.
Correct.
But it's about $10,000 more. We've worked with both.
Correct.
And we're comfortable with both. It's just the supply chain issue we're concerned with.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions, Councilman Soha?
I was just reviewing, it said we had about 220,000 budgeted for this, is that, or am I mixing up?
No, I'm so sorry. I'm thinking.
That is for the BPU.
Correct.
So their trucks actually are a little bit less. So those were what, 94 each?
Correct, because they're not getting outfitted with a plow package on them, where ours we will use for the winter maintenance operations, BPUs will not. So that's where you're seeing I think theirs are covered under the budget that they have.
That is correct.
And, okay, so then what budget is we budgeted for this?
We budgeted for one this year, correct, but not for the other one. But these trucks won't come through this budget. You're probably talking year 20, I hate to say it, 24, 25 by the time they get here. Or 23, 24 in those budget years. So we're not even in budget years yet.
So we'll have to budget for it next year.
Absolutely.
Or the year after that, yes.
But one of them is already.
Correct, so we can just roll that money over to the next year and just budget more in there as well, yes.
it's what you gotta do now, I mean, honestly, or we don't do it now, then who knows if we'll be able to get it all in 2 years, so.
Absolutely.
Councilman Sharp?
It's the same song and dance we've heard, not, I'm for it. We've heard from the police with them ordering their cars or SUVs, they're having the same problem. You try to get something and it could take a year or two, so
Absolutely.
this is not new to us. Cause in finance, we hear this all the time and it's true, you're lucky if you get one in and on a scheduled time, cause there is no schedules anymore, it's just when it's there, it's there. But if you don't put the order in, someone else is gonna grab it.
Yes, sir. Now, the other thing I did not explain on this either, and I apologize, is on the My Deal, for their signature forward, there is only a 3-day window to order through the fleet management program, which the My Deal would be. It opens November 7th and it closes on November 10th. So you have a 3-day window to get your trucks.
Yeah.
So, with that kind of window, that's also why I wanted to bring this other vendor aboard as well, because they're just gonna be swamped as soon as they got done.
Of course.
So, yeah, I apologize for that, I should have brought that up to me that sooner, but yeah, the window is very tight.
That is insane.
And that is directly through Ford,
Correct.
which they've, as a consumer, you'd see that again, like their Maverick pickup.
Yes.
They had like a short window for people to order and get a order number for that, and then they started manufacturing this. So that it's the same process with these commercial trucks.
Do you have a question?
Just to follow, just to clarify, we pay on delivery.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we pay on delivery, yep, nothing up front. From what I was told, they're gonna try to hold the price as much as they can, but I would expect by the time 2 years goes out, there's gonna be something that's, the steel prices are what's gonna drag these trucks. So yes, we do not pay till delivery.
All right, well, that reminds me of a joke Reagan used to tell about 10-year waiting list to get an automobile in the Soviet Union. I won't bore you guys with it, but I'm sure Councilman Sizer heard it before.
Heard that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, so the first one would be for the Board of Public Utilities, Board Supports Award by the council, signature for Owasso in the amount of $194,970. Do I have a motion to, oh, sorry, Councilman Reiner?
Yeah, I had a question for the, BPU, we're replacing, a 2000 Ford 5-yard dump truck and a 2004 Ford dump truck, is that accurate for that, for the BPU, water and wastewater?
Correct.
Okay, what do we do with those 2 trucks? What do we utilize them for?
If we can't use them internally for something, then we'll sell them on the government website and get something for them, whether it's scrap value or more.
Okay, I'm talking in general, day to day, what do we utilize, what does BPU utilize those vehicles for? Is my question, I guess.
Hauling material, like when they're fixing water main breaks or sewer breaks,
Okay.
all that stuff.
Okay.
They use them extensively.
Yeah, okay, and, it's in the budget, I believe, we budgeted 150, which is what this is saying, for this year, and then another 70 for next year, so I'm okay with it. Motion to approve.
If I may ask you to modify that so we can order one from both of the 2 vendors.
Yes, and I will talk with Jeff on the pricing for this. I know it's on its way through the other vendor, or it's already here. I apologize, I don't know if it's here yet. But we can get that pricing too, which will be cheaper than the DPS trucks. It obviously won't be outfitted for the plow package as well.
Okay, so we need to know what we're motioning here. What do we need?
Motion to approve the purchase of one water and sewer dump truck through Signature Ford, My Deal pricing, and then the second
Through Linco, LINDCO, through the Sourcewell pricing.
yeah, which is national pricing.
Okay, motion to approve the purchase of one through Signature Ford and My Deal pricing,
Correct.
and the other one was Source Deal pricing?
Sourcewell, yep.
Source, and that's from Limco?
Correct.
Okay, motion?
Second. Oh, you had motion still?
Yeah, I just have a question for council as far as, the bid process on that. Is that acceptable if we take one that's a different terms as far as when we receive it? From one compared to the other?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I make that motion then.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Briner, seconded by Councilman Sharp. May I have a roll call vote, city clerk?
Councilperson Beard,
Yes.
Morrissey,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Stuchel,
Yes.
Sizer,
Yes.
Mayor Stockford,
Yes.
Councilperson Soha,
Yes.
and Briner.
Yes.
It's 8-0 approved.
Okay, thank you, Katie. And we will move into new business item C, DPS dump truck order, which I think we've already gone over all this, correct? Did anybody have anything to add?
I got true pricing for mine, so we can put that in with the council packet.
Okay.
For the approval.
Okay,
So it would be the same here.
it would be the same?
Yes.
Okay, now my deal pricing, from signature 4 would be $57,995. And then it says truck and trailer specialties outfitter $53,690. So the total would be $111,685 for each vehicle for a total of $223,370. And this motion would be to approve the purchase for between November 7th and November 10th. To put the order in. Any questions? Councilman
Are
Zola.
we splitting this one as well, 1 and 1?
Yes, sir.
And there was an extra $10,000?
Yes, sir.
For the second one?
From Linco, yes, sir.
Could you, what's the total price, would you put that on the record?
So the total price for the signature Ford truck and the Linco truck will be $233,346 total.
And we budgeted how much for this budget year?
$87,000.
And they'll be delivered by
24.
4 or 25?
Yes, sir.
So we have 2 years to make up the difference with our budget before.
Yes, sir.
Is that something that would be a normal budget item every year, or was this a special year?
It would be normal.
Yeah, and we're constantly purchasing vehicles for DPS.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
The one thing I would like to add, if I may, Mayor.
Sure.
I just want to bring to this council is the same truck, we did not expect this out when we did purchase the last one 2 years ago, that price was only $87,000. And then the same truck, I just couldn't believe it was $111,000, the same outfit, same everything. So, yeah, we were off on a lot of our budgeting this year for all that. Just the My Deal chassis pricing did not come out until about 2 weeks ago. So we played in the back window on a lot of this, trying to figure this out. The email literally came through about a week and a half ago, so I apologize.
That's okay, so 87,000 to 111,000, that's about 30%. That's what inflation is, about 30%, it is. I just can't believe they keep telling us this is under 10%, it's crazy. Just gotta go to the grocery store, you know? All right, do I have a motion?
Hold on.
Sorry, Councilman Brenner.
I got a question on this one too. So we're replacing two Ford F-350s. What's the reasoning from going from a 350 to a 550 with these two vehicles?
The difference is the capacity that it can hold. 350s, the chassis, you're gonna be in the same chassis, if you will. It's the outfitting that's different for 350 to 550.
So
Capacity wise, bigger box, yes. Salt capacity, the guys will have to come back every hour so they can go out 3 to 4 hours on a salt load. So we're making it up on the back half too.
Okay, gotcha. And just another question too. I did a little bit of research as far as chassis and stuff like that. Do we have a breakdown of what type of Ford F-350 we're getting, or 550 that we're getting? Just because I went out online and looked up Ford, and like for a basic F-550, it was showing me like a price around $50,000.
Sure.
So that's why I was like a little hesitant, I guess. Are we actually getting a deal through this Michigan deal where if we just went through as the city and purchased it ourselves and then sent it to get outfitted?
Yes, I don't know what without looking what the deal would be, but it is. These chassis are heavy-duty chassis. From the springs to the shackles and everything is something different. It's a municipal vehicle. It's not a vehicle you're gonna go to the regular fleet and get one for ourselves at home.
Okay.
It's a fleet vehicle, if you will.
Okay.
Councilman Sharp?
Is the box bed, is that aluminum?
It is stainless steel.
Stainless steel, so, cause I know we bought some recently that were not stainless steel, they were aluminum or something?
Correct.
Cause that way we wouldn't have the rust issue with the salt.
No, so they are all stainless steel. The difference is some of the last ones about were cold steel. We spent a lot of time and a lot of money sandblasting and doing a lot of work on those. The stainless steel has about a 20-year lifespan on it without touching it. The biggest thing that goes on to them is the welds. Where the welds are starts to rust first. Major improvement since we bought the older ones in my first time here in the early 2000s from now.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilman Sharp and Councilman Brenner. Any more questions for Jason? Okay, do I have a motion then to approve the purchase of 2 F-550 dump plow trucks for a total of $233,370? Is that what you said?
346, I'm sorry, Mayor.
346? I must have heard it wrong.
I'll make that motion.
And that's one from each.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, correct. I second.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Sharp, seconded by Councilman Soha. Can I have a roll call vote, City Clerk?
Councilmember Morrissey,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Stuchel,
Yes.
Sizer,
Yes.
Mayor Stockford,
Yes.
Councilperson Soha,
Yes.
Brimer,
Yes.
and Peter.
Yes.
All approved 8-0.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Katie. Okay, we've got no miscellaneous reports of any sort, so we'll move into general public comment. During this time, the podium will be open. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Please limit your trips to one of the podium, and you may speak on whatever your heart so desires. The podium's now open.
Penny Swan, Ward 4. I noticed it's National Police Week, so I just wanted to shout out and thank our police department. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. And thank you, Chief, as always. Podium's still open. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Council. Doug Ingles, Commissioner, County Commissioner, District 2. I wanted to update a couple of items that have come to light at the county. We are in process with the courthouse construction, and I wanted to announce that Renaissance is the company we've been working with. They delivered the crane. You may have noticed the crane in the parking lot. It's a big crane. They will be doing black inspection in the next week. The black, there's concern about the integrity of the black, that the water has seeped inside, so they're gonna inspect each and every block on the courthouse. It will impact the noise levels in the courthouse. The business will continue in the clerk's office and in the courts themselves. Once the inspection has been completed, the work scheduling decisions will be made. You'll see exactly where we go and what we do. We do know that while the crane is here, in the next following week, they will be doing work on a bell tower. They're going to be taking the railings out, and we'll go from there and see really what needs to be done. From our IT department, the link to the application for citizen involvement is active. Those in our community who would like to serve on a Hillsdale County Board or committee are encouraged to apply. The Board of Commissioners are actively seeking applicants to fill vacancies. And this is on our website. It is the application. Download it, fill it out, send it to the clerk, and your application will be considered. Of note, coming up soon, the Board of Commissioners will be determining the application process for adding 2 road commissioners. So the link is active and the applications are ready to be received. Thank you. If you have any questions, please ask.
Any questions for the commissioner? Councilman Soha.
Hey, Commissioner, thank you for the update. I'm just curious, is there an estimated time of completion for at all?
Hopes and dreams?
Yes, sure.
You know, it's tough, just like we heard, the supply line, and until they start working on that courthouse, we really don't know what we're gonna be dealing with. You know, if you watch the episode of Love It or List It, when they knock down the wall, and all of a sudden, you know, we learn new things. We're gonna learn many new things. The anticipation is that the roof will be done. The anticipation is that we go to the clock and the bell tower and the cupola. Interestingly, when they do the cupola, it's gonna come down to the ground, be taken apart, removed to another location, brought back, put back together, and put back up. It's gonna be quite an extensive process. I know that thus far, contract signed are $4.5 million, with contingency almost $5 million, and we still have more to do. We know we have more to do. We don't know all of the things. We are currently in a needs study on what we really need inside the courthouse. What I've spoken about so far is all external. And once we know where we're going, we'll be able to answer what we're gonna do. This is a big project. Thus, you need to know, because it's in your backyard. So please, if you do have any questions, call me, you know, happy to do what I can. It is my committee, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any more public comment? Podium is still open. Just got a slow horse here.
Good evening, Robert Eichler. First off, with what Mr. Ingles, Commissioner, had brought up in concern is you know, there's been a lot of cost that has been engineers after engineers going through this. And I would ask that, and I think Mr. Ingles is pretty much aware and on top of a lot of the issues, that the cost is coming back on the people again and again. And I want to make sure that we're at least seeing that, you know, wherever that goes, that he's always being attentive to that issue. He always has been. So anyway, I'll give him that in the credit. One is I did want to address, I didn't get to hear, did you guys have to have a roll call vote for the tax abatement, or you already did call it? I didn't even hear it. For Troy, I believe on his.
Yeah, we approved it.
Was that for that 12?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Other than that, Mr. Soha, if I say it correctly, apologize if I didn't. I simply met you at the door here not too long ago, and you felt that you had, you know, deserved that sort of a condescending that I brought to your attention one time as a panel or as a committee, you know, here. And I want to say, one, I'll apologize, but I want to say also, I felt that it was justifiable. But I think as well, you still make a good attendance for a lot of things too. So, you know, wherever it kind of weighs, it always does, you know, comes out good. I hope, again, in the very near future, for the mayor, wherever you're gonna land, I hope it's gonna be always here. Is the flag itself with the frails that are on the side, is that the correct flag? Does anyone know? I mean, I believe that that was supposed to be, you know, where you're at war, if you have those on there. So I'm just curious.
I've heard all sorts of stories. Corey might know.
Corey, bring
That is a proper indoor flag for.
It is a proper.
In accordance with the flag code.
All right, thank you very much, Corey. I do thank you for that. Yeah, I do guess one more item, if you don't mind. What's happening over there at the road commission? Plans to have an extra 2 people placed on this to be appointed. And we've been looking under several of the laws, and I hope that Mr. Ingles will address that issue maybe tomorrow. That under that, it does state that there's certain laws on which to appoint We also have the same thing at the county commissioners, on which they cannot bring in 2 more, and for another, or whatever 10-year issue that is, for them to have 2 more to be brought on. But bringing an appointment, meaning that we're gonna see them for the next 3 years, or are we gonna see them up until the next voting period, which would be another 2? Are we gonna see them for those full next until 2024? An appointment. A commissioner gets an election, and that's what we have to focus on. And this is disgusting to see that they want to appoint individuals of their liking. And there's quite a few qualified individuals there, and I hope you at least look at several of the individuals that's there. I just don't think it's right that we appoint. I believe we need to elect. So I think we'll look at that and maybe bring it up to Commissioner Ingles and their concerns. Anyway, thank you, and have a good night.
Thanks, Bob. Any more public comment? Podium's still open. No Jack hiding in the shadows tonight?
Nope.
All right, seeing no more public comment, we'll close podium. Moving to the city manager's report. Dave.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things. This is from Joanne Miller to the council. Hillsdale County Historical Society is honoring the rehabilitation of the Dawn Theater next Monday at their meeting, October 24th at 7 p.m. at the courthouse. So they invited anyone from council who would like to attend, and they've also invited Tifa as well. So just wanted to, I will forward this email to you so you know more details about that. Tomorrow afternoon, the finance director and myself and our bond counsel and such will be having our bond rating call with Standard & Poor's tomorrow, so hopefully that will go well. I'm sure it will. The way that things are set up is that we will take bids for our bond proposal to actually purchase the bonds on November 7th. So that afternoon, Mayor, we'll need to get a hold of you to sign some documents, but then shortly thereafter, I think the week of the 20th, there we would be closing with actually the bond buyer. So it's actually a fast process. Also, just to kind of make sure everyone knows, I know we've talked about this different meetings with council, as the public is asking. The intent has always been the Howell, Linwood, Morey Street project, as far as construction timing, that it would be completed at the end of October. We're on schedule for that. This rain doesn't help in the next couple days, but they were able to get all the concrete work finished today, and then it's just waiting for the asphalt work. That will be definitely fall within the end of the month, barring any unforeseen natural disasters. But and tied to that, just want to mention that during the paving process, the DPS department is going to be stationing their trucks at the entrances to the areas that are being paved, because the public has been just blatantly ignoring the detour signs, actually getting out and moving them and driving through them. Jason's told me there's numerous bumpers that have been collected from them going over the separation of pavements and hidden structures that are just piled up over there because they go over them at a high speed and just rip their bumpers off. So that being said, in order to keep people out during that process, we're gonna have to spend money to station our trucks at those entrances and exits, just so people won't drive.
Can we station a patrol car there and put up some hefty fines? I mean, the construction zone, things are doubled and tripled. I mean, seriously, you make a couple examples, that'll stop the road damn quick.
Yeah,
And safety issues for people working there, seriously. Should have a cop right there, and the first time somebody looks at a crosswalk, should have a serious.
I've actually seen these folks get out of their vehicles and move the signs and just drive through, particularly ones with trucks.
But there's some cops and I go down to county jail after that one. That's a construction zone, for crying out loud. We can't allow that to happen. We
I
gotta
agree with
say-
Councilman Stuchel, somebody could seriously get hurt falling in
Seriously.
God knows what over there.
Yeah, drive into it.
Yeah, that's not acceptable. We give a lot of money to the police and the fire department. I expect to see a little bit of that return. That's gotta stop.
Okay.
That's not even acceptable.
We'll talk to police chief Hefner, tomorrow. That's all, Mayor.
Is that it?
Yes.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave?
Yes. What's the status of Howland Union, or Howard Union, I mean? The home on Howard Union is really in bad shape.
That'd be a question for Tom. I think that's gotta go to the courts. Is that the one on Powder and Union?
Yeah.
The one with the trees
Yes.
in the yard.
Yeah.
Among other things.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I think we may have something pending with that right now.
I mean, there's a vehicle in the park, in the drive, I don't know if someone, I mean, it's a nice looking vehicle in the driveway.
Yeah.
Well, they live there.
And the thing is, so the city, when they give me the complaints, they know them all by the address. I know them all by the names of the defendants, because that's how I get all this stuff from the court. So I can't remember which
It's
address it
Council, I
is.
believe the last name is Council at that location.
36 Howell Street.
We may not have had a hearing. on
First
that.
name Sunshine.
Oh, Sunshine Sandal. Yes, I do know that one.
Okay.
We actually we obtained a default judgment months back in the
Yes.
summer. We had, a provision in the order, the judgment that was entered by the court that allowed the city, if it was not brought into compliance within the time that was given, to, be able to go in to the property and perform any work that was necessary to bring it into compliance, including tearing it down, which is the approach that we're taking at this point, because it hasn't been brought into compliance. We've actually also obtained an order from the district court, because Ms. Sandal would not move out of the property. We have obtained an order that says that she can't be put out at this point. So I believe that, Mr. Beaker's got it set up, at least so we're getting some bids to be able to tear it down. And then, at that point, if she's not out, we'll take the steps that are necessary to have her evicted from the premises.
Well, here she got mean dog. Was that you that were telling me that?
That would be
that was you.
the order actually provides specifically that she can be removed by either the sheriff's department or the city police, just as you would if you got an order of eviction from somebody in the landlord-tenant matter.
Sure.
So we're able to get that done. We actually already have the order. We're just waiting for it to be executed at the time that we get access to it.
And I do wanna say that we have, I know Mr. Beaker has, I know through the court process, he's tried working with the resident and, for quite a while, and there's no response, no.
Well, we actually have had some communication recently, because we have the neighboring property, we also had enforcement action with respect to that property. And that individual, I've been in communication with, he's entered into a consent judgment to take care of the issues with his property. But he found out that the neighboring property, Ms. Sandal's property, was going to be, torn down, and so he was looking to do something like to acquire that. And apparently one of the hangups is Ms. Sandal purchased the property along with her then boyfriend, and as I understand it, he is no longer around, and he can't locate him in order to get his agreement to sign off on any kind of transaction. So that kind of sticks us, because actually the problem would perhaps solve itself if we could get it in the hands of the neighboring property owner, give him the opportunity to purchase it, because he has talked to Ms. Sandal about that, but she can't do anything because it requires the other co-owner of the property to sign off. So.
It's sad. It's an election season, it's embarrassing going over there knocking doors and hearing from the neighbors, like, what is going on with this place? I called you 2 months ago about it, you know?
So we are all set to take action on that as soon as the bids come in and that gets approved.
Councilman Sharp.
I'm just blessed it's not in my ward this time, thank you. Maybe that gentleman's in that house somewhere, if you look at that house, I don't know how it's still standing, with the roof being the way it is and everything, the mold that's gotta be in there, I mean, after those two.
She's in there.
She's in there somewhere, but it's, I don't see how anybody can live in that condition. I dare anybody, even you people from the college here, go down there and look at it. Stand back from the corner, look up the hill, look down at it, look at the roof. There is plywood. There's no shingles, there's no nothing on it. This house, I don't know how anybody can live in that thing. And it's got electricity, I guess.
I don't need lights on.
Okay, well, that's good to know, it could burn to the ground.
The lists are all up, but I haven't seen lights on for a while.
But like I said, I'm blessed it's not in my ward. Thank you, Lord, for this one.
Well, Chief, if you have to go over there, send somebody over there, they do have a mean dog. And not that you guys aren't prepared to, but it's always nice to have warning. They have a pit bull that comes to the fence very aggressively, so.
Another dog issue though, remember what happened last time we had a dog?
Yeah. Any more questions for Dave? Or Tom? All right, council comment, anybody have anything? Councilman Zola?
I just wanted to bring to council's attention, Dr. Horton, donated $50,000 to the Friends of the Dawn Theater to help, the beginning of the restoration of the organ. And the Friends of the Dawn Theater has acquired a matching grant for $50,000, so they have about half of the $200,000 that it's gonna take. The organ is being stored in Chicago at Wheeler's Place. I don't remember the name of his business, but that's his business. He restores organs, and he's storing it free of charge, with the hope that within a year, I think that we are able to raise, we meaning the community, the whole $200,000 or whatever the total price is. But I thought that was a magnificent gesture of generosity from Dr. Horton, and who has, put his money where his mouth is about saying he wants to see that restored, and then the hard work of the Friends of the Dawn to acquire that matching grant. It's a great achievement.
Just to add that, just a little bit of history lesson, there's only 13 Wurlitzers left. And this will be the only one that goes into the original home it came from, in the world.
That's pretty cool. Do you guys know, is there like a subculture that follows that sort of thing around?
Yeah, there's an international founding of Wurlitzer organs.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
If I may too, to add to that, it's one of the only vaudeville ones that will be in existence. So it has drums and different noise-making characteristics that most organs don't have. And as I understand it, this subculture, people will come here just because they'll want to play it. So there is one actually in Marshall, downtown, not a Wurlitzer, but there's an organ in one of the shops in downtown Marshall, and they'll play it for you if you go up there. It's right on the main street on the north side. Anyway.
But when they rebuild them when he says brand old. All the material is the same material like a Wurlitzer. So if the galvanized pipes are stepped on and smashed, they'll melt that down and use the same material. And he's got a boneyard of timber of that same vintage, but everything it's all brand old is how he calls it. It's an incredible workshop he has.
That's pretty neat.
It would be really neat.
Thank you, Councilman. So, Mr. Joel. Any more council comment?
You're looking at me like, you want me to make the motion? I motion
No.
to adjourn. Second.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Sharp, seconded by Councilman Morrissey to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. This meeting's adjourned.